everybody. This is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you from downtown Manila. It's coffee time for me, guys. It's 6:30 in the morning. Slept badly last night. I need that cup of coffee badly. I've got an interesting guest today, and from Canada. Haven't had anyone from Canada for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've got a very, very interesting lady. Let me tell you a bit about her. Her name is Alexi Bracey, and Alexi is a resilient cancer warrior, holistic mentor, and a speaker. Company name, Alexi Bracey, nice and simple. Holistic health. She's been in the industry for over 30 years, guys. Imagine what she might know about. She looks healthy, what she might know about health. You want to know more? Why don't you reach out to her? Have a glass of wine or water, a coffee, depending on what time of the day it is. Reach out, have a chat to her. Not going to hurt you, and you might learn something about your health, guys. Remember, health is, as I say, I'm 77. Health is wealth. You know, it's when you get older, you realise how true that is. The key achievements to date: cancer victor with medical intervention, plant-based chef, healthy home inspector, happiness trainer, personal motto philosophy, inspiring everyday resilience, one joyful and conscientious step at a time. Right. Interesting fact about herself. One of her key values is to bring joy. I share happiness everywhere I go, the dog park, the ATM machine, the gas bar, and the Zoom meetings. I saw a joke yesterday, Alexi, I hadn't seen for a while, and a man went to the gym and he said to the beautiful lady at the front desk, what machine should I use to impress the girls? She said, oh, yes, sir. That's the ATM machine just outside the door. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, it's my great pleasure to introduce today Alexi. How are you, Alexi, this fine evening? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just a slight correction. I'm a cancer victor without medical intervention.
Out, all right. Let me see if you got it wrong or I got it wrong. Might probably be me. Let's have a look. You got here with, trust me, on your
Okay, all right.
No worries.
Okay, so,
We can correct that, which we've done that, guys, without. It's without,
yeah,
not with, it's without. Right, have a look
that's a
at that,
big.
and you'll see I'm correct. I was wrong once, but it was a long time ago. So we're going to start off with Alexi here with 15 minutes of fame. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you, Alexi, to pursue your current career path. Where did it all begin? Take us back there.
Well, when I got the diagnosis, the phone call saying that I had cancer, I knew when I hung up the phone that I was going to beat it. I had no idea, but I knew I was going to. So I just said, thank you, and I hung up the receiver. So, like I said, without medical intervention, I started doing a lot of research. I changed my diet. I got rid of the toxins in my home, did some emotional work, and I was cancer-free in a year's time. And so that started on my journey on learning more about health and healing and natural nutrition, because healing comes from the inside out. You know, health is not found in a pill. It's found in lifestyle choices that you make. And so then people started asking me, well, how did you do it? So I started teaching. And so I've taught at all sorts of institutions, health centers, wellness centers for many, many years, and I've helped many people. But it was the power of my mindset and resilience. You know, any setback anybody ever has, whether you lost your job, whether somebody died, whether you have to move, you become a caregiver, it's resilience that gets you through. And so then I've had a few other setbacks, just like everybody has in their life. And it was the resilience, the mindset that I was going to do it. You know, like the saying, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're also right. So, I'm the resilience queen. I know it. I just, because I do a resilience boost 1 minute video on LinkedIn every morning just to give people some ideas how to add joy into your life. It's not up to you for joy to come into your life. You actively do things to promote it, to attract it, to share it. Because when you are joyful, then happiness will follow. It's not the other way around. It's not happy
If
first.
you're miserable, you'll always be miserable. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Interesting, a lot of things you said there. I like it. I relate to it. One of my guests recently, she was basically the toxic queen, and she became my client, and I wrote a book for her, and the book was titled, and she loved it, "Is Your Home Killing You?" Think about that, guys. Is your home killing you? So, in other words, the chemicals, some of the candles you're burning, some of the paint on the walls. There's lots of reasons, guys. And once you start, like Alexi does, doing your research, it's very, very interesting. The other one is that when I get medicine at my age from a doctor, I quite often check it out, and it goes, I've got a headache, for example. It says, take this, and all you'll get is diarrhea, or constipation, or gut problems, or aches and pains. I think, hey, I must not take the medicine. I'll just take water and get some sunshine, right? And I find that water, and for me personally, water, sunshine, and chicken soup are my go-to medicines. They won't fix broken bones, but they'll fix a lot of other ailments. What's your take on water and things like chicken soup and sunshine, Lexi? What's your thoughts?
Well, as long as the water is purified, because our water is so toxic, sunshine, we should get out when the sun has just risen for at least 15 minutes in the sunshine and let that sun shine right on your pineal gland, because that really helps with your health. And in terms of, the pharmaceuticals that the doctors prescribe, it's just a Band-Aid. It's not getting to the root cause. And anything that you put into your body that's supposedly supposed to help you doesn't have negative side effects. So right there, the red flag goes up. If you get diarrhea, if you get, I don't take any kind of pharmaceuticals. I go to have my blood tests tested every couple of years just to see where I stand. And the first question the doctor says is, who's your pharmacist? Well, I don't have a pharmacist. I don't take pharmaceuticals. And everybody's like, they stop for a second, like, oh, all right. So next question.
Very nice.
You know?
Lizzie, I've got a question for you. Have you ever put your blood test through ChatGPT?
No, because I used to be a lab technologist, so I can read my own blood work.
Fair enough.
So
Do me a
when
favor,
the doctor, when the doctor says normal, to me that's not acceptable. You
that's
want
right.
optimal. You
Normal
want
means
optimal.
you're between 80 and 100, and it's a cop out, isn't it?
Yeah, you want optimal, not normal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, put your
Because everybody's normal is different.
That's
Your
right.
normal may be 2 degrees or 2 milligrams below the average or 2 above, but that's normal for you. But because we're all individuals, we're all unique. We all have our own different fingerprints.
I do my blood every year around my birthday time. It's easy to remember, right? I probably should do it more often, but never mind, I do it once a year. And I got a brainwave recently, put it through ChatGPT, and it said things like this. Number one, X over Y times 44 plus W is, and that, of course, was your kidney, but they to give you a gobbledygook, so you need to pay more money to get the blood test read. Anyway, all mine, he told me the same story. Oh yeah, you're good, Jeff. Good, 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 good. You're in the range, Jeff. For your age, you're fantastic. And I thought, okay. One day I had a brainwave. I'm sitting here and I thought, I'll put it through ChatGPT, and it was far more comprehensive. Number one, like you said, it gave me variables and ranges. But more importantly, number nine. Here's a good one. Number nine was, you should be 100. You are 900. I went, whoa, what the hell is that? And I was sitting here dead tired with my matchsticks in my eyes to keep my eyes open. And what it was, because I'm in front of the computer 16 hours a day, it was lack of vitamin D. Then the symptoms of that were you'll be extremely tired and you'll have brittle bones. Fast forward a few weeks later, I fell over and broke my shoulder. So there you go. And I got all that from ChatGPT and running my blood test through. So it was quite interesting about that. Anyway, moving on. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how have you overcome it, Alexi?
I'm sorry, what's been the most what?
Most challenging part of your work?
Challenging? Well, I used to work as a plant-based chef, and I had an unfortunate accident as a result of a no-fault car collision that affected my balance, which in turn, 2 weeks later, I fell and broke my femur. So that ended my career as a plant-based chef. And so then I thought, okay, so now what am I going to do? So for a few years, I sort of freelanced and did a few other things. And then it dawned on me, Well, healing from cancer isn't just food because I have so much knowledge in other capacities. So I've gone back to it, but I've incorporated into it resilience because it's resilience and mindset that can
That's,
get you to
that's awesome.
get the results that you want. So I do promote from a holistic standpoint, but really that you are so very confident that you can thrive and you can heal by having that positive mindset. Plus, doing some lifestyle changes. It's not just thinking about it. You do have to incorporate some lifestyle changes. So I just say to everybody every morning, give yourself a hug. I'm a victor. I am strong. I know I will overcome. And it just changes your mindset and you feel so much more confident.
Nice. I'll tell you a funny story. The other day in a shopping centre, I'd never seen it before ever. I don't know if you know the dog breed, Shih Tzu. They're a little cute little dog.
Oh yeah.
Um, there was a guy standing in the middle of the shopping centre. There was no money involved. There was no hat or anything. He had a dog with a dog had a thing around his neck. Please give me a hug. How cool is that? I'm walking along, what the hell? Is this dog? Please give me a hug. And he was so popular. I thought that's bloody awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. So rare. But how cool is that? Probably some
Well,
people
every,
probably think it's a nut, but I thought it was awesome.
well, animals give their love freely, especially dogs. So, why not? Because everybody can use a hug.
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody.
I used to joke. One of my, you're a joker like me. One of my jokes used to be, um, get your car and lock your girlfriend and your dog in the boot of the car for 6 hours and open it up again to see which one's happy to see you. uh, Tell us about an important moment in your career that pretty much changed your direction. I guess when you broke your bone there, that's part of it. What else? What else, Alexi? What
Well,
made you change?
after that happened, I took a course in Marcy Shimoff's Happy for No Reason, and I learned that one of my key values is to bring joy. And I had already started telling jokes when I worked at fishing lodges. I was at this one fishing lodge for 4 summers, and 90% of their guests were repeats. And some of these fishermen are now bringing their grandsons and been coming for so
Fantastic.
long. And so during dinner time, I go out and I talk to them. Or certainly I'm not going to talk to them about fishing. So I started telling jokes. And so then the next year, the guys would see me and say, "Oh, Alexi, have you got any jokes?" So I started telling jokes. And so now, like I said, at the ATM machine, at the dog park, at the grocery store, on Zoom meetings, because behind every face, there is a story of loss, of grief, of trauma. So for 2 minutes, I have a captive audience. They laugh out loud. It feeds my soul, but more importantly, lowers cortisol, raises the feel-good hormones in your brain, and laughter has been shown to promote longevity. And then the guy goes home and he says to his wife, I met this crazy woman at the dog park. She shared a joke, but it was really good. And so the story continues. So, you don't know what's going on in people's lives, like I said. And so just for one half a minute, you know, it takes their mind off of what their problem may be, and they may think, well, maybe there is another way. Maybe I'm beating myself up. You just don't know how you impact people, and sometimes you never will. You just
That's it.
never will. Like, for example, I've got 2 dogs that get a lot of attention. I'm
What
standing at
type
the
of dogs, by the way?
crosswalk. Wheaton Terriers.
All right, interesting. Yeah, like foxy type terriers.
Wheaton Terriers.
Right, right, beautiful dogs. Yeah, yeah, nice dogs.
Yeah.
Good looking
So
dogs.
we're standing, so we're standing at the crosswalk, and I'm giving my dogs a treat. And there's a mother standing there with her 4-year-old, and her eyes are as big as saucers as she's watching this. And I said, "Do you want to give them a treat?" So I put a little treat in each one of her hands, and she gives it to the dogs, and she's just delighted. 3 weeks later, I see her. She still remembers.
Fantastic. As they would. She remember it for a long time.
Well, that's just
Um,
it, and it may get her over her fear of dogs, you
yeah,
know?
there you go.
So you never know how you impact people. You just never know.
The funny thing is, I used to, this years ago when I was a kid, I used to walk to school and most of the houses had a very low fence, about 3 foot. And on the corner house on my way to school was this dog. I used to stop every morning pretty much and give him a pat. And the interesting thing was one day, but I don't know what the reason was, maybe he had a bad tooth or whatever, he bit me on the wrist, on the inside of my wrist. I've had to put my hand down to pat him, done 100 times before. He actually bit me on the wrist. boy, did that scare me. That put me off dogs for a while, I tell you. I came back, but that particular incident was quite, a bit scary. I thought, to this day, I don't know why he bit me, but maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe he thought I was going to hit him or something with my action. I'm not sure to this day, but it was interesting. In your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills, you've touched on it already, that have contributed to your wonderful success, Alexi?
My mindset, my determination, my resilience, um, my
Open-minded. Yeah.
my ability to impact people through kindness, through giving a compliment, offering a hug, giving them some ideas on how they can share their skills and put a smile on people's faces and make a difference. Like, invite the woman who has just lost her husband out for dinner, buy your neighbor some flowers, walk an older neighbor's dog because she can't get around. So I give people ideas, little simple things you can do to make a little difference, a big difference in other people's lives. It's just things we never think about. Like you judge a homeless person, you don't know how he got that way. I mean, if you read some of the stories of celebrities, a lot of them have been homeless, and it's their determination, resilience that got them to where they are. So, don't look down on people that are less than you because you don't know what the real story is. Just offer some kindness and positivity and try to make an impact in them and always smile. A
My
smile
wonderful
speaks so
partner,
much.
my wonderful partner a few years ago surprised me. I said, "What do you want for your birthday, darling?" And she said, "I want to go um, to an old folks' home and make their day wonderful." So what we
That's
did,
right.
we rang up an old folks' home here in the Philippines, and we asked them how much would it cost. We talked to them, but can we provide a lunch? Because how many people you got? They said about 60. Okay, can we buy lunch for those people? And the deal was we gave them the money and they still made the lunch in the canteen, but we said we want chicken and this, that, and the other. And we took some cakes. And I tell you, it was virtually a life-changing experience to get these people in their 80s and 90s and so probably some close to 100. They lit up. We went and we spent there 4 hours there running around talking to all these different people. We didn't take photos or tell anybody or any of that nonsense. Right? We just went there to make a difference. And it was so
That's
awesome.
right.
And we do it every year now on our birthdays. And the last one we did was an orphanage. Went the other way. Went to the
Mhm.
younger version, right? And it's just so much fun. It's that sort of life. People don't understand any of this stuff. So get out there, guys. Let's go out and make a difference. A big way you can make a difference, guys. Go out there today and smile at some people. Just smile and
Mhm.
see what happens. Right?
That's right.
Makes a difference. Yeah, so you're a champion, Lexi. How do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field? What are your secrets as far as innovation goes?
Well, I just, like I said, I post the Resilient Joy Boost every morning to
I like
inspire
that.
people. And then I do regular newsletters and videos, just giving people ideas on how, it doesn't have to be about resilience or about joy. Like I wrote an article about respect. Like respect has gone out the window now.
Interesting.
People don't
Interesting.
respect.
Yeah.
How do you say, people are always saying, have a good day or how are you? That is so vanilla. Like, use a little bit more imagination. How can I make your day better? I hope somebody gives you a hug. I hope you
love
give
it.
somebody a smile.
Love it.
Or, like just be more innovative as opposed to the traditional, like push the button. I'm fine. Have a good day. Thank you. Like just be more ingenious and make it more personal, even if you don't know the person. It doesn't matter because everybody can use a smile, everybody can use a hug, everybody can share a kind word to a stranger.
Well,
Just
you're a star. I come across an older guy. I'm 77, so he's probably about 90 now. I come across an older guy about probably 20 years ago. He's a marketing guy. I went to one of his seminars, and his big word was every time someone asked him how he was, he said, "Fantastic." That was his punchline. That was he was known as Mr. Fantastic. He was always fantastic. And that's his attitude. Like he had the attitude. He woke up. He was fantastic. I'm interested about your little thing you do every morning. You do that on YouTube, do you? Just put on YouTube and just save it, do you?
Yeah, like I posted it on all the social media files or social media
On the
sites,
whole
and
schedule.
it's
Yeah,
anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute tops.
yeah.
And it always gives you something to do, something to say, how to have an attitude. Like this morning, it was your morning mantra, what you say to yourself every morning, but you look in the mirror. You don't just say it, you look in the mirror at yourself and
Oh,
you say it.
love
You
that.
know, it just makes such a difference because, and then call people by their name when you're talking to them. Like,
Yes.
never say thanks. Thanks is so flippant. Say thank you. Even when you reply to an email, thank you for letting me know. And if possible, find out what their name is because everybody likes the sound of their name. You know, thank you, Susan. Even the teller at the bank or the cashier that you're checking through,
So,
ask her what their name is. Thank you, Susan, for doing such a good job. Thank you, Mary. I hope you have a beautiful day.
yeah,
Everybody likes to hear their name, and thank
it's so
you
easy.
is
It costs nothing.
personal.
Lexi, it costs nothing. It costs
I
nothing.
know it's just little things you can do.
Yeah, it's something that I got to tell you. I thought I was a nutcase until I met you. Um, I've been doing something similar. I'm looking at my list here. I got a list of about five or six, but the one I did yesterday was about regret. Right? So the interesting about don't have any regrets. It's like beige. Forget about your regrets, right? And my next one, which is today, is procrastination. So I'm doing something very similar to yourself. Just trying to put the message out there. Why? Because we can, right? We can. And we need to. People need to hear this stuff. You agree? You know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
And in any disaster that happens, there's always a gift to be gleaned. People don't realize it. Like, for example, Christopher Reeves said the happiest uh, 3 months of his life were his last 3 months because of his research. He was able to impact so many people with spinal cord injury. It wasn't playing Superman. It wasn't being the equestrian. It was definitely doing something to impact people.
Yeah.
So,
What about those people on the stage? You've seen them on YouTube. They're born with melamine or whatever the drug is. They're born with virtually they're missing their limbs, missing their legs. And there's one guy, I forget his name now. I've seen him many
I
times.
know who you mean. I know who you mean.
This guy gets around in a backpack. He's got a beautiful wife, and she puts him in a backpack, and they go mountain climbing, skydiving, surfing. They do all the things that you don't do, right? The people don't do, and there's no excuse, And he's so happy, and he comes onto he hops onto the stage like a little rabbit.
I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. So, again, it comes down to mindset and resilience.
Absolutely,
Don't let
he doesn't know.
what everybody else can do stop you from doing it.
Yeah, he thinks he's 7 foot tall. He doesn't know any different. He's pretty fantastic. I'm gonna look him up later. After this, I'm gonna look him up again, and I'm gonna make a post about him because he's bloody so awesome. And there's many like him, not just him. Um, Tell me, can you tell us about a recent project or achievement that you're particularly proud of, so that we can spread the word?
Mm, oh dear, let me think.
You're proud of everything you do every day, no doubt. But what else? What's something you've made a change in someone's life?
Well, I guess I've impacted so many people have been diagnosed with cancer, like all over the planet over the years.
Yep,
And it's because they reached out and they listened
in their mind, right?
and took to heart what I suggested.
Yes,
And in it, it saved their life. The family wasn't homeless. They were able to go on and do what they wanted to do. They were influenced to really motivate people based on the trauma they went through that, you can really do it. So I would just say it's, well, one thing that really comes to mind that really touched me to my core. I used to live in a high rise and I would take my dogs out for a walk. And there was a young Filipino guy standing outside having a cigarette. And
yes,
so we struck up a conversation, and he was here from the Philippines to look after his brother who had cancer, like take him to doctor's appointments and all that. And so I'd see him every 2 or 3 weeks. And so I was sort of like his Canadian aunt. And then one day he said to me that his brother had passed away and would I come to the funeral reception in a few weeks? And I said, well, absolutely. And so I arrived at the funeral home, went into the chapel. There were about 30 Filipinos in the chapel. I made my way up to my friend. He took me up to the casket. I had never met his brother, and we exchanged a few words, and I left. And then about 3 weeks later, I'm walking down the street, and this young Filipino woman comes up to me, and she says, "Were you at so-and-so's funeral?" I said, "Yes, I was." She says, "You have no idea how you impacted our community."
Fantastic. They're such lovely people, aren't they? They're
I
such
tell you, that just so touched me.
Sure.
And like I said, you never know how you impact people's lives. And for some people, you never will. You just never will.
That's what this podcast is all about, changing lives. I get so many interesting guests. I had a lovely, I got to tell you a couple. I get a lot. Every one of them gives me a little bit of a story and something to learn. And a woman the other day, we're halfway through the podcast, and one of her things was, be a good human. And I thought, how bloody good is that? Be a good human. That's not that hard, right? Be a good human. That was that one. And another one was another interesting woman, a businesswoman. And she said, Jeff, I'm not a CEO, I'm a she-EO, S-H-E. And I thought, all you women should rise up and be a she-EO, because for too long it's been a man's world. The she-EOs, you think about it, they go to work, then they come home and maintain a house, cook your meals, look after you. They do so darn much for society that goes unnoticed, right? All they get is Mother's Day or something, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate women. They do an awesome job, right? People don't realise, when you think more deeply about it, and you realise I'm right, and the fact she was a CEO, that affected me. I thought, how cool is that? I've got to spread that word to all the other women out there to stand up and be a CEO, right? Don't be a conformist, right? What advice would you give someone aspiring to follow in your footsteps? What would you tell a young 18-year-old version of yourself? What would you tell them?
Commit to making a difference in people's lives each day. So each day, either offer a compliment, give a hug, give a smile, or ask how you can be of help each and every day. And at least once a week, reach out and call an old friend or send a card. And how are you? Like just really reach out, make a commitment to people you don't know, just to touch them for 2 seconds, whether a smile, a hug, a compliment, whatever. People can all use a hug. I'll approach a stranger and I'll say, "Can I have a hug?" Because it reciprocates. I give one back. It's an exchange of energy.
Yeah, I love that. I add to that. I tell people, when's the last time you took a photo of someone, like, of your dogs, of yourself, or of a friend, because they're memories. I tell people, for Christ's sake, guys, make memories, not money. The money will follow. Don't worry about that. But make memories. You can't take memories away from you. I lost 20 million when COVID came along. And it took me a couple of weeks to dust myself. I couldn't go to the supermarket and buy my groceries. It took me a couple of weeks to dust myself off, and now I'm on the way back. But now my attitude has changed totally with money, and now I want to be Mr. Big Enough. I mean, how many beers can I drink in one day? How many steaks can I eat in one day? As long as I've got a beer in the fridge and a steak in the fridge, I'm doing pretty good, compared to the majority of people in the world. So I'm grateful and thankful for what I've got every day. It's all about having fun, guys. If you don't have fun, well, that's on you. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? Alexi, what are you going to be doing for the future?
I'd like to get on national TV, maybe be interviewed on Oprah or podcasts with Jamie Curley or Mel Robbins, just to promote happiness and resilience and joy. Because people,
five
people
a day, every day. Reach out. 5 a day, every day. Reach out.
That's right. That's right.
Reach out. Make it happen. They don't know unless you help them know. Reach out 5 times a day and then repeat it. Go back again.
And little things you can do, like, for example, if somebody holds the door open for me to go into a coffee shop or a grocery store, and if it's somebody that's older than, or if it's somebody that's younger than me, I always say, "Is your mother still alive?" And most times they say yes. And so I say to them, "Well, tell her she's done a good job." that would put a smile on her face, and this person always smiles as well. So, or if it's an older person, I'll say, is that age before beauty? Again, just to make them smile.
You're a star, Alexi. You're a star. You know, something came to mind, but it's gone out again. I was going to tell you something, but it went in and out. I got a hole in my head, I think. Um, Tell me, what's the best way for our listeners and people watching this wonderful podcast? What's the best way for them to connect with you and have a cup of coffee and have a virtual hug? What's the best way to do that?
On LinkedIn, definitely LinkedIn.
LinkedIn? Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
All right.
Yeah.
And before we wrap this up, we know a lot about you already, but tell us another fun fact about yourself that people don't know.
Um, well, years ago, when I was working as a private chef, I was I was asked if I would like to do some private chefing for this celebrity, and I said, yeah, sure. And so when I arrived and I was being interviewed, um, the interviewer said, do you know who it is? I said, no. And he says, well, he's famous for his movie Men in Black. I said, I don't know what Men in Black is.
Yeah, right.
And it was for, the name is Will Smith. Now,
Oh, okay,
don't judge what happened at the Academy Award, because that was a reaction from childhood on both parts.
Maybe a bit of setup for all we know. Who knows?
Well, anyway, so I mean, it was Will Smith. I didn't even know who Will Smith was. I'd never heard of him. So I just thought that was really cool. And he was a delightful man. I did suggest he was very strict on his supplements and this breakfast drink. And so I just made a comment, gave him a printed out that one of the ingredients that he used in his smoothie wasn't really as good as it was. So I did just leave that comment with them. Never heard, but he did take it away. So I just thought that was really cool.
And that's a nice darn movie too. And I'm sure you've seen it, In Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, I love that one. That is absolutely
Great
awesome.
movie. Great movie.
Totally
Story.
awesome.
It's a movie with a message, right? You got to get the message. It's a movie with a message, guys. Right?
That's right. That's right.
I got to tell you a movie that I went to see some like my genre is crime and thrillers. I went to see a thriller or a crime movie many moons ago, and unfortunately for me, it was booked out. And I thought, oh shit, I'm here anyway. I'll go and see this other silly movie. So the movie I went and saw, and it was bloody awesome. It was so unique. The movie I saw was Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Mm.
And the way he contorted his face with those masks and things, it was so hilarious. And that guy, he's an amazing talent. The other one I love is, I think it's Pet Ventura, where he's got 100 pets in his apartment, and the landlady knocks on the door, and all the birds go under the bed, and the dogs go to the cupboard. And he goes, "Yes, can I help you?" Those sort of people, they're remarkable talents indeed. So I'm going to wrap it up now. And guys, if you want to have your 15 minutes of fame, just like Alexi's has, and tell your story, every man and woman's got a story, and we'd love to hear your story, guys. We'd like to like we're going to do with Alexi. We're going to put you across Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and of course YouTube with all your social media links, and put you in front of thousands of potential clients. You guys be looking for friends or a hug or clients, whatever you're looking for. We're going to help put you in front of thousands of people. So guys, please reach out. Think about it. TV commercial will set you back $30,000, and people might go and get to the toilet, make a hamburger, grab a coffee while the commercial's on. 10 radio spots in your city are going to set you back $3,000 to $5,000. They may play them at 2 o'clock in the morning. 15 minutes of fame is there for eternity. We keep promoting you, and we're happy to do so. Thanks, Alexi. You've been an awesome guest. It's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. So let me go down here now.